Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a terrific Tuesday and a great week so far. Today we're going to be diving into Cardano, and we're going to be covering ADA on a number of different fronts. I've got lots to share with you in this video. We're going to take a look at the overall market. Very red today, other than Dogecoin and a few other pariahs out there in relation to the altcoins. You know, the market's still very weak. We're going to go over this at large, and we're going to really be touching on where we left off in our earlier video, where we looked at the dollar and related it to Bitcoin. And this very much sums up and explains what's happening with the markets on a technical level, and certainly there is a fundamental back end to that with the new variants, etc., etc. So we are going to be diving into that. We're of course going to be getting into the price of Cardano, looking at some of the articles out there in relation to analysis, technical analysis in regards to Cardano, and really giving our thoughts on it. Here we have Cardano ADA price eyes a 30% rally with a potential triple bottom set. We'll get into that. We're also going to be diving into CoinShares crypto fund report. This is a good indication of whether we're still seeing the smart money, the big institutions and investors actually getting into crypto, or whether they're kind of pulling funds out, whether we're seeing an inflow or an outflow. We are still seeing an inflow as a whole. The last CoinShare report that we got actually dictated that Cardano was negative in terms of it was actually flowing out instead of flowing in. We've seen a switch from that, and we actually see that we are now seeing people to continue to buy Cardano even despite what's currently taking place with the markets. We're going to be going into Google Trends. We've got a lot to get through in this video, guys. So let's start by taking a look at the overall cryptocurrency market. It's very down, very weak. This, of course, and for those of you that don't watch my daily cryptocurrency market updates, where we not only go into the crypto space, but we look at the traditional financial realm, and we look at global macro events that are taking place and how they're all very correlated. And what you're seeing here, we've got the dollar at the top. This sums up very perfectly the cryptocurrency market. You can see this is May the 26th. We're actually going to put a line through it. If we go to May the 26th there, you know, you can see that you have a lot of correlation here, ladies and gentlemen. So the dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes up, dollar goes up. What do you think happens to Bitcoin? We see weakness, and we see us run into a bit of a headwind. And this is because there's uncertainty across the board. And this is really why you're seeing this slumpy weak price action for the crypto space. Lots of uncertainty. People will take risk off the table, and crypto is still a very risky asset, certainly in a traditional sense. And I want to remind people that Apple is approaching nearly a $3 trillion market cap. Remember, crypto is only $2.1 trillion in terms of market cap. You are still exceptionally early, ladies and gentlemen. The reason I bring this up is because there is often a very negative outlook given the current price movement on the crypto space. This is something that I'm exceptionally excited to be a part of, and I hope you guys understand that, you know, if this plays out in the way that we think it is, cryptos are going to play a substantial role in every individual's life on a global scale, and we're very early in terms of that journey. So important for me to bring that up. And this, you know, we touched on it earlier in the video that we made regarding the cryptocurrency market, but this really sums up what's happening for crypto right now. And of course, you know, the Fed are talking about upping interest rates. They're talking about tapering off bond buybacks, tackling inflation. We've got 20 of the central banks around the world meeting to discuss this issue. Tomorrow, we've got data coming out from the Fed in regards to their comments on inflation and what they're likely to do to tackle it. So this is going to be a market mover event, if you ask me. So there's lots going on, and Cardano is a part of that. In yesterday's video, we looked at this structure over here and said it was very similar to what we had previously been through down here. And I do absolutely believe that on a macro timescale, ladies and gentlemen, and let's actually zoom out, you know, you are just continuing to put in higher highs and higher lows this whole way up since March 2020. And I think that's going to continue. Still today, you're potentially putting in a higher low that you're going to see a higher high continuation from. And if we don't, then we've invalidated the structure. And we'll address that accordingly. But right now, guys, I think we still look good. I think when you understand what's on the horizon for Cardano, you know, it's massive. And I think that this is going to correlate with our next point, and that is Google Trends in relation to Cardano. How often has Cardano been searched? This is exceptionally correlated. This is something I pay a lot of attention to. due to being an investor, because I want to catch trends when they occur. And when you look at this and you go through the dates, these peaks are very correlated with the price peaks, and then of course the reductions, because this is retail. What you're looking at here is retail investment and their interest within a certain asset. So this is something we're going to be paying a lot more attention to with you guys. And ultimately, you can see, just like your markets are running into headwind, you have another perfect explanation over here with the amount of people actually searching for Cardano. It's slumped right off, and this is very correlated. Certainly I notice it as a YouTuber with my analytics. You can see the engagement, whether it goes up and down, and that's actually very correlated with the price as well. So I have my own kind of metric for it without being a part of Google, although I'm sure Google used that metric as well. Let's get into the digital asset fund CoinShare. In the last CoinShare that we saw, the last CoinShare report that we saw a week ago now, they do them weekly, and we actually saw a reduction in the amount of Cardano that was being bought. In fact, we saw an outflow instead of an inflow. You can see we've gone back to being bought, and we're actually seeing an inflow within this week, which is a positive sign. And as a whole, CoinShare are still seeing inflows and not outflows, which still means that people are accumulating Cardano. They're a kind of traditional financial arm for the crypto space. They exist in the kind of forms of a fund. And typically it will be big players that will use a fund to get exposure to crypto. So it's somewhat tied in with smart money, etc., etc. And you can see here, despite the price falls, inflows continue, but opinions among investors is extremely polarized. That's that uncertainty again that we're talking about in relation to markets as a whole. You have to have a short and a long-term outlook here, ladies and gentlemen. And the long-term outlook for crypto is exceptionally exciting. Certainly if you give thought to where we are today and where we could potentially be going. You guys are the early adopters of a technology that's going to change the world. It was Jeff Bezos that said, invest in something that will change the world. The opportunity is at hand today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm certainly here sharing my thoughts with you guys, and certainly my concerns in relation to, what's happening with the markets. And I do, people say, okay, well, do you still follow the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, which is what we follow today on the channel. And we do to a degree. We think that essentially, the reason the 4-year cycle theory occurs is because of the Bitcoin halving and what this does to the supply of Bitcoin, and why there has to be a price increase associated with that. That is still going to play a role. That the halving is built into Bitcoin's code. The market still follows Bitcoin. This is obviously a trend that's reducing over time, but still for now we're there. So you are going to see some sort of a effect every sort of 4 years. But I think the market now takes a different direction. I think we're lengthening in terms of cycle. We're going to go into next year, and this bull run still isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. Even for Bitcoin, we're putting higher highs and higher lows in. Here, for Cardano, still on a macro scale, higher highs and higher lows, and we're expecting that continuation. Crypto is the future, and given the DeFi, what may sort of perk up these Google trends may be DeFi, and when people start hearing about some of the yields that become accessible via Cardano's DeFi ecosystem. That's certainly something I'm looking forward to. And I think when people start hearing about how much money people are making from DeFi, and I am absolutely anticipating that, remember, it's around the corner, DeFi, you're going to see trends uptick, and this is correlated with price. We've got a whole journey. We've got the whole next leg to take place, guys. Please don't get shaken out. I've seen quite a few influential crypto figures sort of taking a turn for the worse, if you will, with the negativity. It's not nice to see. Markets are brutal. Nobody ever told you that this was going to be straightforward. Investing in crypto, there's an element of it being easy in the sense that you just have to buy and hodl it. But that in itself, buying and hodling something, is a lot more tricky than I think people give it credence for. And I've certainly been around in March 2020, 2018. I've seen some of the worst crashes that crypto's had to offer. And that's why I can sit here before you today, guys, saying that I'm a true believer in where this technology is going. And I think the price is going to be associated with that. What's next to talk about? Let's cover this article here. Cardano ADA's price eyes 30% rally with a potential triple bottom setup. So what are they talking about with this triple bottom? Well, let's get into it. Now, depending on how you want to look at this, it's either bullish or bearish, because you could essentially say that you've got this kind of descending triangle at play where you're hitting your head, you're trapped in this layer and you're hitting your head. Now, these will typically break to the downside, but the triple bottom that they're on about, and you've got a pretty beautiful double bottom forming right there. is this point over here, ladies and gentlemen. And they're saying that this is your floor. Let's actually get into the article and see if there's any TA. Can you see this? This is what they are referring to, ladies and gentlemen. And they're expecting a breakout to the upside from this. We will see. It is possible. We have seen triple bottoms play out before. May I remind you, over here is a perfect example of that on a more macro scale. But you almost had a quadruple bottom over here, you know. So you can see that, you know, it doesn't always. Typically, you don't want to keep coming and smashing your head down on a level because often, eventually, you'll break through it. But, you know, the TA kind of getting thrown around at the moment. What people are failing to realize is that Cardano is very, very heavily correlated to the market health as a whole, and certainly Bitcoin. Everything is correlated to Bitcoin. And if markets are running into headwind due to things that we've spoken about, you know, Cardano is a part of that, and it's going to react accordingly. Now, coins will move on their own, and I expect Cardano to do very well over the coming months, coming years, because of DeFi kind of turning on. We already have smart contracts. I think that we're actually seeing a huge uptick in Plutus scripts being, which is essentially smart contracts being deployed on Cardano. So the metrics, the on-chain metrics for Cardano is so strong. It's really just held hostage by the overall market conditions. It's held hostage by FOMO, FUD. You know, there's so much going on. What you really need to do is sort through all the rubble and understand what the kind of foundations are here. And that's what we're trying to do with these videos. So that is largely all I have for you guys. I am really going to love and leave you on that now. I hope you found this entertaining, useful, and interesting. What are we expecting for Cardano as a kind of closing statement? Well, I would like to, providing we don't invalidate this low over here, go on to put in a higher low and a higher high and see that continuation. And certainly I can envision that continuation given what's around the corner in regards to DeFi turning on for ADA and how this is going to be a huge catalyst for the price increasing. And we've done plenty of videos on that where we've compared what happened to Ethereum when DeFi got turned on, gone over the reasons why it's extremely bullish for Cardano in relation to ADA getting more used and utilized, so on and so forth. I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. We are expecting a continuation in this bull market. You may experience a period of uncertainty and volatility. Certainly it's the end of the year as well, so people will take profits generally and position themselves within the new year. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm going to catch you in the next YouTube video. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So as a comment, remember we do have the stake pool. ALLIN is the ticker. We'd love for you guys to come over and stake with us. We are minting blocks now, and we are establishing ourselves as a stake pool. And also, our Discord is in the description. Click the link, and that will take you over to our Discord. Thank you very much for watching, guys.